evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of An Hour with Bob. Here we are on this beautiful, beautiful June 17th, 2013. One of the nicest days we've had thus far. I don't think we need any more rain, do we? By the way, folks, I hope you took care of your fathers over the weekend. I hope you took them somewhere or did something for your father. If you look on my Facebook page, Bob Venturini, or An Hour with Bob, or Bob's Adventures, you'll see what I wrote about fathers. I wrote 3 or 4 different, I don't know, compositions about fathers, things about fathers, things that relate to me as a father, and having a father that died very young in a big family, and how important fathers are to me. Everybody talks about their mother, you know, mother's this, mother's that, and they are, of course, but fathers are certainly as important as mothers. So I hope you took care of your dad, and if you didn't, shame on you. Well, tonight's going to be an interesting night, because tonight I'm doing something entirely off what I normally do. I told you before, I've told you for 21 plus years, I stay away from politics on this show, but I had to bring in this, actually two guys that are involved in politics, but they're here for more reasons than politics, because they're intelligent men, and they have a lot to say about the state of Rhode Island, and a lot of good things to say. And first I got with us, Ken Block's with us tonight. How you doing, Ken?
I'm great, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's again, it's different for me to have a politician on my show. In fact, 2 weeks ago I had John Howard on, but he's no longer a politician. Right. Over the years, I can't remember a politician I had on my show.
Well, I'm very honored that you're breaking the mold with me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I thought you were an interesting guy. I listened to you on the radio on the Petro show, and you're on Buddy's show. I've heard you on Dan York's show. I heard you on Matt Allen's show, and you know what you're talking about. What do you do for a job?
I have
a computer.
I have a software engineering business.
Right.
We do really big computer systems. We do this food stamp program for the state of Texas. So every year, $8 to $10 billion of food stamp benefits work through my software on the state's computers. We do that the same thing for Puerto Rico, and now we're selling waste and fraud analysis services to state governments. So that's what I do in my day job, and then I moonlight as a politician.
Now, speaking of waste and fraud, just today I'm seeing something that hits me at home in Pawtucket on NBC 10 News today. They were talking about they got another gas scandal where somebody's stealing gasoline. They have in Pawtucket. We are in Pawtucket, and I am a resident of Pawtucket. And 20-something years ago, under the Surratt administration, believe it or not, we did some good things under the Surratt administration. And one of the things I did is when I was a special assistant to the mayor, I took on some projects, and one of the projects I took on was I took home the scrolls of the gas consumption for the state. I mean, for the city, because I had heard heard stuff going on, and I found a number of people were stealing gas. And what they do is they had 2 cards. They had a card that goes with the car they drive for the city, and then they have their own card, and they had to put 2 cards in and into the pump, and then they could pump gas. And I thought it was kind of strange that one of the vehicles I looked at was a Ford Taurus, and I looked at the manufacturer's specs on the car. It held 15.9 gallons, but this car took 20 gallons of gas, or 19 point something gallons of gas, which is impossible, of course. And then and it's all time stamped. And then I looked further down. 22 minutes later, that same car took another 20 gallons of gas. So in the course of 22 minutes between times, so in the course of about 28 minutes, that car took in 40 gallons of gasoline. I set up a surveillance back in the day. I borrowed a van, and I set up a camera, the old S-video camera, and I caught a number of people, and some of them were, I hate to say this, cops, firemen, city workers, taking gas. And apparently it's happening again. It was on the news today.
Really? That's amazing. I call it monkey business.
I call it thievery.
And it costs us, right?
It costs us a lot.
As a state. Did you know that in Rhode Island, almost 10% of our workforce goes out on TDI every year, temporary disability?
10%.
10%. It's an outrageous number. In New Jersey, it's 3%.
Well,
how is it New Jersey is doing it so much better than Rhode Island?
Exactly.
Really, New Jersey?
Exactly.
Right? So we see this throughout government spending. And if the government doesn't do a good job of making sure that either benefits aren't misspent or stolen, it will get stolen. Right? I mean, we know that this is a natural way that things happen.
And then when people do it, somebody sees one person do it, they go, "Oh, I'm going to do it too."
Of course. And so what's really important, it's one of my big things, is I truly believe that government needs to very carefully make sure that the dollars that it spends are being spent for the right reason.
And if they do that, we don't have to raise taxes, because if you get rid of the waste and the fraud, well, look when they caught the guy. He's working out. The guy's lifting 280 pounds.
The Channel 12 exercise.
20 times, the fireman, and he's on disability. Come on, and he beat that. He's still collecting. He's not off disability.
Right.
But if you're in private sector and you go on disability, even if it's Social Security disability, and you got caught doing that, they would knock you off Social Security disability or any other disability.
I had a really nasty back surgery 2.5 years ago. I went back to work within 2 weeks.
Yep.
I own a business. I have no choice.
Right.
I have to run the business, and I worked my way through it, and I'm fine.
I've had 5 back operations.
On average, when Rhode Islanders go out on disability, you get up to 12 weeks.
Right.
On average, they go out over 11 weeks.
Or they go out on permanent.
Or permanent.
Or they go out on permanent.
Different disability.
It's sad to say, and what's really sad is, for some reason, the firemen have a totally different disability thing. I always thought when you're on disability, it means you cannot work. But so often they go on disability and they get other jobs. How can you be disabled and be able to work?
That's a good question.
Because you could make, if that guy, like the guy they claimed that, he couldn't go back to the job because you never know, that his doctor said, well, as strong as he is, you never know when his back could give out. Well, guess what? Put him on the desk.
Right.
Right? Have him do something else.
Can you do something else? I mean, that's
you would do that in any other industry. That's what would happen.
Right. We're too small for the monkey business. Right? I mean,
we shouldn't be able to get away with it because we're so small.
And because, there are 38,000 businesses in this state, and there's 1 million people living here. So when we go bad with something like 38 Studios, that was a $100 million bad call.
Right.
That's $100 for every man, woman, and child in the state.
Right, exactly.
Right? And now there's talk of trying to give $40 million to the Superman building to turn it into apartments.
I talked about this.
$40 for every man, woman, and child in the state.
Right.
To turn 400,000 square feet of office space into rental apartments.
Oh, by the way, now I talked about this on my last show. I worked in the Superman building in the 70s when I worked for Aetna. It was so bad to park in Providence.
Right.
And that's being a worker that you're done at 4:30, 5 o'clock. How about when you make it into apartments, you got the apartment dwellers, their friends, their relatives, all coming over. Where the heck are they going to park? It's not like there's a parking garage under it or even nearby.
If we're going to spend $40 million, first of all, shouldn't the state own part of that building? And what we're talking about doing is just giving it away.
Right.
And you're talking about apartments. That's not economic development.
No.
There is no way. Common sense says that's the last thing we ought to do. And so close to 38 Studios, how can we even begin to think about doing something?
I can't believe that it's even brought up. I can't even believe. I'm beyond it. Besides the fact, aren't there a lot of empty apartments in downtown Providence already?
I don't know where the Providence rental market is, but I'll tell you.
I don't think it's up there.
For myself, I don't live in Providence.
Yeah.
I have 4 people in my family. I'd like to see my $160 spent elsewhere, right? There's better ways to spend that money, and I'd rather see that money spent to do real economic development here in the state as opposed to apartments or giving it to a baseball star who couldn't run a lemonade stand.
That's right. And by the way, I was against that 38 Studios for several reasons. First of all, he was a baseball player. He was not an expert on computer games, number one. Secondly, and most importantly, I said back when I ran for lieutenant governor in that race, I was against that whole thing, as you were. I said, there's no way that I would put all my eggs in one basket. Instead of giving $75 million to one guy who got turned down by every other source in Massachusetts, there's a reason for that. There's a reason he got turned down by everybody.
Of course.
Instead of giving it $75 million to that one guy, how about giving $1 million $1 million apiece to 75 Rhode Island businesses, or break it down to 100,000 a clip, right? 750 businesses.
That's the way smart investors invest. Nobody ever claimed we were smart investors here,
No,
unfortunately.
Then you minimize your risk doing that. But the big thing is the guy had no background in that.
No.
I think that was a case of the Speaker of the House and the governor being, starstruck over this guy with his bloody sock.
Yeah. Or frankly, just not knowing what the heck to do, right? I mean, economic development is not easy. Who was the last governor, in your opinion, who actually successfully built confidence in Rhode Island's economy? Go back in time.
Probably Garrahy, maybe.
Sunland, I would say. Right?
Oh yeah,
so,
I'm sorry,
right?
Sunland.
So certainly during the credit union crash,
right.
He stepped in and he took actions to cause people to become confident in Rhode Island's economy.
Right.
That's what we need right now, because what people lack is confidence.
Right.
People outside the state don't look at Providence or Rhode Island as places they want to move their business because they don't have confidence that it's a safe place for them to come. So it's not hard to instill confidence. You have to have a plan, you have to stick to it, and you have to be firm about it, right? So when we see bills to raise the income tax from 6 to 10%, what a governor who instills confidence would do is say, not ever will that bill be passed.
Right.
I will veto it because we will not disadvantage Rhode Island businesses relative to Massachusetts businesses.
Right.
You have to do that. Who said that? Nobody steps up and says that.
Right.
The governor hasn't done it, the Senate president hasn't done it, the Speaker of the House hasn't done it, and therefore we lose confidence and our economy suffers for it. It's simple. It's common sense, but someone has to have a spine, and mine's fixed now.
Right.
And and you have to stand up and say, enough. You can't do it this way.
Right.
Here's the way it has to be, and I'm going to make it happen.
What's amazing to me, and I'm sure it is to you, and it's, first of all, people do not know where the power lies. And I try to explain this to people when I tell them they don't understand, they don't believe it. The governor doesn't have the power he should have, he or she should have.
Correct.
The governor in this state ranks 49th of 50th, and that's not good. 50th being the least powerful governor. The most powerful governor, believe it or not, is next door in Massachusetts. The most powerful governor.
Right.
The least powerful governor is in Vermont, I believe. Oh no, that's 48, is it? Yeah, I think that's 48. I got it somewhere. The least powerful governor is Vermont. That's right, it is Vermont. Vermont's the least powerful governor, but the most powerful governor is in Massachusetts, Alaska, then New Jersey, New York, and West Virginia. It's the top 5. And the reason why is it's set up so the Speaker of the House has the purse strings, has the most power. And what's sad about that is, I looked it up, the present Speaker of the House won, he got 3,590 votes. He is only obligated to the people of not the whole state, not even the whole city, just Fox Point in Providence. That's the only people he has to answer to. As long as he can get them to vote for him, he got 3,590 votes.
Right.
He beat his opponent by about 8%. That's all he's got to worry about. Whereas a governor, you need 125,000, 150,000 votes to win.
That's right. That's right.
So why should he have that much power when there's no check and balance there?
So look, you're preaching to the choir on it.
Yeah, I know.
And one of the big things that I worked on early this year was the effort to get rid of the master levy.
There you go.
The straight party vote.
That's it.
From the Rhode Island ballot. Now, is that the most important thing to get done in Rhode Island? No.
No, but it's one of them.
So, I mean, I would argue there's a lot of economic issues that really need to be hit first.
Right.
But by pushing the issue with the master lever, and by bringing 100 people to the State House to unanimously testify, we have to get rid of the master lever.
Right.
2,600 people sent emails saying get rid of the master lever.
Wow.
A majority of both chambers have said they would vote to get rid of the master lever. And
But
yet they're not going to be allowed to vote on it because
it's not
the
going to come out of committee,
president
right?
and the Speaker aren't going to let it out. It is this problem, and I believe it's time for a constitutional convention because it's coming up in 2014, and we have a legislature that does not listen to its constituents.
Right.
It does not listen to anybody. They're not accountable.
Exactly.
And so we can change the balance of power between a legislature run amok
Voter
and the governor.
initiative.
and all manner of things. Voter initiative comes with a set of problems that are pretty rough.
Right.
I'm not sure that voter initiative is an answer, but there are things we can do in a constitutional convention to rebalance the power between the legislature and the governor's office,
right,
to have a much better check and balance between those two branches and get better government out of it. 100% we have to do that. 100%.
All right. Well, we're going to talk more about this political mess we're in the state of Rhode Island with Ken Block. But who's here? Who's that? Is that Black Velvet? Is that what we call ourselves? Is that Lori? Lori Willis? Lori, you gotta. I recognize some of the folks you have with you in this band. Now, who do you have with you in the band? Who's that guy over there?
On guitar, Andy Rosati.
What's it? What is it?
Andy Rosati on guitar.
Hi, Andy.
On drums, I have Tim Paul.
Tim.
And on bass, I have Tommy Toes.
Tommy Toes. How are you, Tom?
Good. How you doing, Bob?
Good. Good.
Good to see you.
Now, you've been together as a band for what, a little over a year?
A little over a year.
But you've been singing for a little bit, huh?
Yeah,
Since you're a little kid,
We all
right?
have,
Since you're a
yeah.
child, in the 80s and 90s, right? What kind of stuff do you do? It's a mix, right?
It's a mix. Yeah, we took some high-energy country, fast-paced country, some blues, and
Right.
some rock. And the mix seems to be working pretty good.
Oh, good. Now, you're playing locally this week. I know you're playing at Bailey's, and you're playing at...
We're playing in Woonsocket this upcoming Saturday. There's a Woonsocket Arts and, what's it called? Arts and Music Festival.
Yes. Oh, that and
the
that's over.
22nd.
That's over near the fish and chips, the old fish and
Yes.
chips, right over near there, near the what's the name of the club over there? There's a club right there. Vintage and the
Riverside,
River
Falls.
River Falls there. Yeah, yeah. All
We're
right.
going to be opening up for Through the Doors, and there's going to be about, I think, 8 bands there that day. There'll be raffles, music. It's a good place to bring the family. It's going to be a nice
Wow.
day.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't rain. We do
What
have a
time
rain
does it
date
start?
on the
What time?
23rd. I think it starts at what, 2 o'clock? 10 o'clock.
10 in the morning? Wow. Well, you
Yeah.
got a lot of bands to go
Well,
through.
there'll be artists and artisans there selling their goods. Everything has to be homemade. So it's going to be an interesting day. Hopefully it won't rain. We do have a rain date
I think we
on
had
Sunday the 23rd.
Oh, good,
Just in
good.
case.
All right. Where are you playing other than that? I know you're
The
playing.
clubs that we played at, it's kind of like my home, is Bailey's Pub in North Providence.
Now, that's
Bailey's
on
Pub and
Smith,
Grill.
Smith Street, right?
Yes, yes. They named, they've got a drink called Black Velvet.
Aha.
And when we're playing there, it goes well. When we're not playing there, it seems to go pretty well. So.
And how did you come up with that name, Black Velvet? I
Black
like
Velvet,
to ask bands that.
Just picked it's actually a song. It's a song that we do. We'll probably be finishing out the show
Oh,
with
cool.
the song Black Velvet.
Cool. And the other place you play at sometime?
We'll play Uncle Ronnie's, Red Tavern. Gosh, now my mind's drawing a blank. The Legion Bowl in Cranston.
Yeah.
Off of Park Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be playing Roadie Joe's in Wakefield. I'm really excited to play there.
That's the Cellos, owned by the Cellos family.
Hoppin' venue. So,
Yeah, they're a big supporter of my Toys for Tots.
Yeah, really, really.
Oh, yeah, have been for years, from the start. In fact, this year is our 20th year, Toys for Tots at the Warwick Mall.
Good for you.
All right, give us a song.
Okay, we're going to do a Jason Aldean song called She's Country. You boys ever met a real country girl? Talking to you out in the woods, down home, country. She's a hot little number in a pickup truck. Daddy's sweet money done jacked it up. Used to party all night from South Carolina. Bad mama jamma from down in Alabama. She's a raging Cajun, good at Ticker Brunswick, juicy Georgia peach with a quick southern drawl, sexy swing walk. Brother, she's all country. She rubber cowboy boots to a down the river. She's country. Brother song she plays to the prayer she prays. That's the way she was born and raised. She ain't afraid to say country. Brother, she's country. when the sun goes down. Mama taught her how to rib up town. Candy dripping honey from the hollows of Kentucky. Get your flippin', got her dripping like a Mississippi. If she's a Kansas princess, crazy mother trucker, undercover lover, thick southern drawl, 60 swing walk, brother, she's all country. She from her cowboy boots to her down home, she's country. From the song she plays to the prayer she plays, that's the way she was born and raised. She ain't afraid to say country, nothing but country. Brother, she's country. She from her cowboy boots to her down home room, she's country. From the song she plays to the prayer she prays, that's the way we were born and raised. She ain't afraid to stay country, nothing but country. She's all about the country.
Well, that did have a little hint of, you had rock and roll, you had country, you have all kinds of high energy stuff. Good stuff, good stuff. Well, you'll be back. Lori Willis. Hi, folks. We're here on An Hour with Bob. We're here with Ken Block. Ken, we're talking about, where do we leave it at? We're talking about
So we just
a ballot. We're talking about
we just finished talking about the master lever.
the master lever.
And we were talking about how the balance of power between the executive branch
executive,
and the,
yeah, exactly. And well, the judiciary doesn't even come. By the way, speaking of the judiciary, I can't even say that word. It troubles me when laws are made by our senators, our reps, and signed by our governor, whether it be this state and other states, and then one judge can turn it right over.
Right.
Which is troublesome to me.
Well, more troubling is how we pick our judges.
Right.
So, I mean, most judges are direct relatives of legislators or legislators themselves.
Right, former
So,
legislators.
you
Oh,
know,
exactly.
and
My God.
It's a little hard to believe that we don't have quality lawyers who are not members of the legislature who wouldn't be as qualified or not more qualified for some of those judges.
Right. Well,
So-
I saw a judge that cost me a lot of money years ago. He was a political hack from Providence. They gave him a judgeship, and he decided a case that went my way twice. And the third time, he was the judge that turned it over on a technicality and cost me over $1 million.
Oh.
Yes, in a car. I was injured in a car accident. I was hit head on by a drunk driver, and he flipped it. Two judges before him had ruled in my favor, and he flipped it over on a technicality. And the guy, I mean, he shouldn't have been a judge in the first place. I knew it before. Went to him. Everybody talked about it. I mean, he was not like you said. You got a quality guy that's a judge, that's a lawyer. That's the guy you make a judge. You don't make him a judge because he's a chairman of the party or something.
And by the way, that's another reason for the Constitutional Convention, because you can, in the Constitution, define how judges get picked. You can even define who qualifies and who wouldn't qualify. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to look at our Constitution and make some big changes on how we do it, because we can't ask our legislature to give up power, because they won't.
They're not going to do it.
And they won't. We see that with the Master Lever. We see it with the Ethics Commission. And,
oh my, that's a joke.
Right.
That's
I mean, so there's only one way to fix that, and the way to fix that is to advocate for, push for, and ultimately get a constitutional convention and take back that power in the mechanism that our founding fathers here in Rhode Island foresaw. They foresaw the reason to do this, and there's a great reason to have the convention.
And you look at other states; they don't have half the size of the legislature that we do.
Except for New Hampshire, which has a gigantic legislature.
Right.
Ours is quite large. California.
75 and 38.
That's right. That's about the same size as California.
Right.
So, and for me, of course, we're getting all wonky here on things that most people don't care about. But our legislative session is 6 months long, which is a very long session
for a part-time legislature.
That's right. And so I'd rather see them up there 3 months. They have half as much time to do damage as they do if they go for 6 months.
And pass half as many bills. A lot of them are ridiculous.
That's right.
All right. What do you think of Chafee becoming Republican, independent. Now he's a Democrat.
So for me, I think the whole idea of voting along party lines is kind of crazy. And I've been watching as the Republican party lines have kind of been disappearing via the dysfunction of the party.
Right.
And I think Governor Chafee jumping from Republican to independent helped to break that down. And now he's in the process of helping me tear down the Democratic Party lines, which is perfect because ultimately what Rhode Islanders need to do is they need to vote for the person and not the party.
Sad, but true, but sad that unfortunately, I mean, I see it time and time again. I talk to especially the older folks or the immigrant population. They got this thing about that big D.
But it is changing, and I do believe that as Governor Chafee moves from independent, he's now the formerly independent governor. Okay, as he moves.
By the way, he was the only independent governor in the country.
That's
you know
right.
That, right.
That's right. As he's moved from independent to Democrat, I think there's a lot of Democrats who don't perceive him as a Democrat.
Right.
And I believe that there's not as many votes for him in the Democratic Party as he might think. So it'll be very interesting to see. And for me, it's all good ultimately because I just believe very strongly that we have some problems that require a specific skill set to fix.
Right.
And someone who's just a Republican doesn't necessarily get it fixed. Someone who's a Democrat doesn't get it fixed. It's what those people know and what they say and how they say it that's important.
Right.
And the only way you're going to vote for someone like that is to ignore the party designations and to evaluate the individuals on the merits. And that's what I believe very, very strongly, that we have to do that. Because we've been doing it differently for decades, and it hasn't worked for us.
Well, that's exactly right. But the problem is, again, these bullheaded people. I talked to a man when I ran for state senate. I love your show, Bob. I love what you do. I love all the stuff you do for kids, for Toys for Tots. All the volunteer stuff you do. I don't even know your opponent. Never heard of your opponent before. I'm definitely voting for you. And then when he found out I was running as an independent, he goes, "Oh, gee, but I'm sorry, I can't vote for you." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, and on top of it, he had every reason to vote for me, even we're both Italians, you know. But that ended as soon as he found out I was running as an I instead of a D.
Right. It's a process. It's definitely a process. I introduced the idea of looking beyond party lines in the last race, running as a moderate under the new party that I created. And I believe now that people will be very open to it. And because
well,
I
you're
think
going to be much better because it's an off-year election.
It's an off-year election, and it's the nature of the crisis. I mean, people are fed up in this state. They really are fed up. They don't like the fact that the current governor is not doing much economically to help bring the state back.
Right.
And they realize that economic development, education, these are the issues that everyone cares about, and we're moving backwards on both of them. So the only way to fix it is to figure out who's got the best ideas and vote for that person.
Well, that's the right way to fix it.
But as people get more fed up, they're realizing that they have to do things differently. You have to look at politics a little bit differently here. And again, I think the governor has done me a great service by moving over the Democrats and causing confusion about what it means to be a Democrat.
But you know, it's 2 years away. And he has 2 years to get people to think he's a Democrat, I guess.
I couldn't think of a better Democrat to run against.
Well, that also creates a problem for Raimondo.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Because him being the Democrat, that takes away the possibility of her being the endorsed Democrat. And will she run against him in a primary?
I don't know. They're all delicious questions to me. And
I'm hearing some way, and I told you this wild scenario I heard. I heard one scenario has it that the U.S. Attorney General Holder gets bumped out or resigns or whatever, and they put in Sheldon Whitehouse as the U.S. Attorney General, which opens up the Senate seat in Rhode Island. And Chafee, then the Democrat Chafee, who's been a senator before, gets. Well, can he name himself?
That would be problematic, I would think. I guess I suppose he could name
himself. Couldn't he?
That would be the ultimate in chutzpah, in my opinion.
Well, who else to pull that off, though? I mean,
I can think of a lot of Democrats who'd love to get that seat.
Oh, no doubt.
So I think you'd be looking at a civil war. I think.
Well, wait a minute. If he has the power to nominate, at least to fill the term, if he has the power to nominate a person, he could conceivably nominate himself.
He could.
And if that in fact happened, then Raimondo would have a shot, along with Tavares, as the Democratic standard bearer, which would help you because they'd battle against each other in the primary.
The more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
Now, why not a Republican? Why Ken Block doesn't run as a Republican?
So I look at D.C. and I look at the partisan politics that happens there, and I look at the last couple of presidential races where I had choices like this, and I'm in the middle. So I'm not a classic Republican by any stretch, especially when measured by nationally where the Republican Party is. I'm also not a Democrat. I mean, I'm literally in the political middle. And,
you're a businessman.
And I'm a businessman. I'm a pragmatist. I'm someone who's a realist. And all I really want to do is I'm a problem solver. I want to fix what's broken here.
Right. Which is what honestly we need. We need somebody to fix
we need someone just to fix it.
We got a few problems.
Make the problems go away. And I just feel I'm not sure that I gain much by running under either party, Republican or Democrat.
Right.
And I also don't know how much it might hurt. Right. And so I'm not closing the door to doing any of that, but I'm not sure that if you add up all the votes at the end of the day, that it helps or hurts to run Republican or any other way.
Right.
If I'm right that the party lines are breaking down over time, I'm in the right spot.
Well, I think you're in the right spot if in fact that happens. I just don't have that much confidence in the Rhode Island voter. I just don't. Sadly, sad to say, but I just don't. I mean, I've run into politics. I've been involved in politics. I graduated from Roger Williams with a degree in politics. I've been involved in the political arena since I was a young kid, and as a Democrat for the most part, and then I went independent a number of years ago. But it's just so hard running as anything other than a Democrat in this state.
You know, I have a degree in computer science, so I'm a computer nerd
There
who
you
dabbles
go.
in politics. So
Well, you know the numbers.
So
then,
I know
right?
the numbers.
You
That's
know the
right.
numbers.
That's right.
What you do have on your side is the state historically has wanted a different governor, a governor from a different party than the General Assembly.
Right.
That has happened more times than not.
That's
this
right.
state.
That's right. Yep. I'm ready and raring to go. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you been raising money?
I have
How's
been,
things
yes.
going?
If I stay on the track I'm on, before the end of July, I'll have raised more money into my campaign this time around than I did in all of 2010.
Really?
Really.
That's impressive.
So it's coming along.
That's impressive.
Yeah. It's not much fun.
No,
but
because
I'm
it takes a
doing
lot of time.
It takes
It
a lot.
does take.
I'd rather
all-
chew my fingernails off with my teeth than make the phone calls.
Well,
But
that's
you
the
have to
other
make
thing
the
that's
phone
got to
calls.
be done away with now on a local, statewide, and a national scale. Got to get rid of this stuff. You spend between the two presidential candidates, what they spend $2 billion. A
lot of money.
I mean, that's obscene, and they wonder why. We wonder why the politicians are so corrupt. We make them corrupt.
Yeah, the quid pro quo is there, right? It just is. I totally disagree with the Citizens United case where the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, basically said unlimited money into politics.
It killed it, ruined it.
It's a bad. It's just bad all the way around. And frankly, politics should not only be available to people with money.
And which
right?
is
I mean,
what it's
so
become.
That's what it's become.
It's become a playground for people with a lot of dough. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
And unlimited resources, and you know, you got one guy that put $10 million into somebody's campaign there 2 years ago.
What was his name again?
Yeah, I know. We want to get him on the phone, huh? All right, Ken Block. Well, we'll be seeing you. We'll be hearing from you, I'm sure.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Ken Block, the moderate party standard bearer.
Yes,
right?
I am. Yes, I am.
All right, Laurie, give us a song, take us out of here, and we'll go to see my man from Westerly, Rhode Island in a minute. All the way down from Westerly. Came all the way up from Westerly, I should say. That's like an hour's drive. Go this way.
You've got leaving on your mind. Tell me now, get it over. Hurt me now, get it over. If you've got leaving on your mind, if there's a new love and you hurt, there's a new love in your heart, tell me now, get it over, hurt me now, get it over. If there's a new love in your heart, hurt me now, get it over. If there's a new love in your heart.
Hey, Black Velvet! Lori Willis. And hey, look who's with us now. Folks, you know, if you watch public access, you got to know who this guy is. Caswell.
Hey,
Caswell
Bob.
Cooke, how are you?
That's right.
All the
How's it
way
going?
up from Westerly, Rhode Island.
All the way. I packed a suitcase to come to
Did
Kentucky,
you
yeah.
did you bring your passport?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They bring overnight?
They stopped me at the border there.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they? They get you at the border? I mean, that's like a run for most Rhode Islanders. I have a friend that lives in Woonsocket. It's exactly 11 miles from my house to his house. He has one turn. Well, actually, he's got one turn from his street onto the main street, Mendon Road, which becomes Lonsdale Avenue, which becomes Main Street, and then one turn onto my street. Refuses to come, it's too far.
Yeah, you know, we find that in Westerly that we really want to tell people that Misquamicut Beach is there, and a lot of people from Connecticut and Massachusetts will drive 2.5 hours to get here, but
Rhode Islanders.
Rhode Islanders is just like, yeah, I don't know, exit 1 off 95, it's too far. But we hope people change their mind.
Wow,
on
but
that.
what a beautiful beach. And by the way,
Yeah.
Misquamicut's back in action.
We're open, 100%.
Isn't that great?
It is.
Now, you've been a big promoter down there for years, a number of years, and well, it got to be 20 years, right, or more.
Maybe not that long, but
Oh, close.
I've had a restaurant with my business partner, Seafood Haven, for this is our 20th season. So I
Is it really?
guess you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was 19, now I'm 39, so
Yeah, and now you're married, got a couple kids.
a
And,
couple kids, engaged, all that stuff.
oh,
yeah.
you're engaged, got a couple kids, and,
Whatever.
and you're on the city council.
Yes, for 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. So we've done a lot of good things in Westerly, and we've got our house in fiscal order down there.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. What are you trying to say?
We've got a good surplus and rainy day fund, so when the hurricane came, we were able to handle it.
And
so
you did. And
we
you did. Now you had all, instead of usually when a storm comes, it washes away all the there's erosion and all the beach goes in the water. In your case, it went on the street.
It was crazy. Yeah, the day after the hurricane, the governor came down and we went down to the beach, and you know the rest of Westerly, like most of Rhode Island, you know, had a few limbs down. It was
Right.
not a huge deal. But you
But
go down
not
to
the
Misquamicut,
beach.
went to Misquamicut, and the governor, after he looked at it, he said, "This is our New Jersey," and it was literally like this 2-mile stretch of Misquamicut, and it's something I've never seen in my life. I stood in front of like an iconic place called the Andrea Hotel,
Right.
where I was a DJ for like 15 years and did stuff.
I
like
went
that.
down there for an event for you one time.
Yeah, yeah. And I walked from there 2 miles down to my restaurant, and it was the weirdest thing. It was like walking on the moon. It was just 4.5 feet of sand in the streets. Like you knew something was wrong when the stop sign was, you know,
Oh, below almost
yeah,
waist level,
yeah,
right?
almost waist level. And I didn't think we were going to come out of it, you know. And $3 or $4 million later, and it's back.
What'd you have to do it? I mean,
We hired a company called Sherenzia Excavation, and they brought in, I mean, the machinery they brought in looked like it was from like mining equipment. Like we're
Right.
talking
Oh,
like
that big,
those
yeah.
those trucks that are just so big they're like, you know,
6-foot tires on
Yeah,
them.
right. And within a week they had all the streets cleared, and then every ounce of sand was put in our huge State Beach parking lot. Now you can picture it. It can hold 3,000 cars. Every inch was filled with sand, and all during the winter, every day they filtered the sand. They spun it around. They got all the stuff out.
Wow.
It went up the little, you know, the whatever you call it,
A
conveyor
conveyor?
belt,
Right.
And dumped.
And
We
then-
had pyramids all along Misquamicut, which was
Wow.
kind of made for interesting pictures.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yes.
If you go to our Facebook page, Misquamicut Beach, you can see all the pictures from before. And so what's really cool now is all the sand's back, the dunes are back in place, and we literally have the cleanest beach anywhere on the East Coast because every ounce of sand has been
It's
filtered.
open filtered.
There's no cigarette butts, no
so
rocks,
folks, don't
nothing.
even bother coming down there with your metal
Metal
detectors
detectors. Now it's
because
gone.
there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
No.
Did they find anything, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you know what was weird is all the stuff from before 1938 hurricane. The day after the hurricane,
was the big hurricane.
you could see all the foundations exposed.
Really?
You could see, and you know, all the stories I've read about the 38, and of course, Watch Hill and Misquamicut were so badly affected in the 38 hurricane. I could see how that hurricane was. I stood there and I said, I get it now what that hurricane must have been like.
That was the worst hurricane.
It was. And
Downtown Providence
yeah.
was under 25 feet of water.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And so you could see everything exposed, rebar, foundations, everything. But we somehow put it all back together. And some of the businesses are, you know, they've had to raise their buildings up. Some of them had to be torn down.
Right.
But everything is back. There's literally only one business out of the 50 businesses in Misquamicut that's not open this year, but they will be next year.
Wow.
So we're in full swing, ready to go.
So you got the Atlantic. Was that it's Atlantic Beach Club? Is that it there? What's the name of that club down there? The beach, the first beach. First beach club. I mean, the first.
Well, there's the Pleasant View, the Andrea, and Patty's. Patty's is like the thing. And then in the middle of Misquamicut is the State Beach. And then Sam's Snack Bar and Beach, and then the Wishkey now, which is the Newtown Beach, and then
they changed the name of the place.
Yeah, well, there used to be the Atlantis and those clubs.
Right,
yeah. I mean, I guess the motto is if you partied there in the '80s, you can bring your family now, because a lot of those nightclubs and stuff that had caused a reputation in Misquamicut were all torn down. They're gone. We still got great places for nightlife, but it's a family beach now with family events, family activities, and it's a great place to come. So there's, you know, there's more than just the State Beach there. That's that's a half a mile of this 3-mile stretch. So there's about 20 different places you can park and go to the beach at different spots.
Well, like you said, you got a 3,000 car parking lot over
right in the middle, and then there's another 3,000 car spaces between the Pleasant View and the Dunes Park. So there's plenty of places to park, and the rates fluctuate based on the weather and the day. Not at the State Beach, but at all the other parking lots. And some places you get great deals. You go to the Andrea and you pay to park, and you get half of it back to go spend inside. So I mean, there's things like that. So there's a lot of, you can pick and choose when you go down there where to park, what hotels to stay at, things like that.
Now, how the carousel survive?
Everything's fine.
Now that carousel has the distinction of being
Rocky Point's horses.
Yeah. But it's also one of the oldest carousels.
It is, and the one in Watch Hill is actually the oldest flying horse carousel in the nation. Yeah, so we've got one in Watch Hill, and we have one in Misquamicut at the Atlantic Beach Park, where the bumper boats are and the water slides and all that stuff next to our tourist information center. So yeah, it's all right there. But those are the horses at the Atlantic Beach Park are the Rocky Point ones.
Wow, that's amazing, huh?
So we kept it in Rhode Island.
Yeah. And then the hotel, they just what's the name of the big hotel they rebuilt down there?
There's the Pleasant View, the Andrea, the Sandy Shore. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. So they redid them all.
Everything got a forced renovation.
And raised up.
And some of them got raised up. I mean, the Andrea survived the 38 hurricane, and they could have rebuilt, but they decided, you know what, let's do it. Let's just go to code, and we can't keep fixing this every time the rains come and the floods come. So a lot of people are doing it the right way and going up. You know, the State Beach Pavilion wasn't affected because it was built, you know, in I think '99, so it was built to the current codes. Anything at Misquamicut that was built to the current standards, being, you know, 15 feet in the air, was fine. It was the places that are, you know, right on the
ground
beach.
level.
Yeah, things are changing. Everything's shifting. We're trying to get a dredge project going for our pond so we can pump that sand back on the beach. We're hoping that the senators come through with that. I mean, there was $60 billion in Sandy money. We'd love it if Rhode Island could get a few million of that $60 billion. You know?
Why aren't they pushing for it? Oh, are they?
Well, they are, you know, and we're getting some reimbursement from FEMA because the whole cleanup is about $4 million for Westerly.
Wow.
So supposedly 75% of that will be reimbursed, we hope.
And it's amazing to me that, you know, you come to Providence, you talk to people in Providence, hey, I'm going down to Westerly. What? You're going way down there? But the fact of the matter is, I don't know of a more beautiful scenic view than you go down to the Coast Guard station down there. Or the
in Watch Hill,
it's beautiful. Or anywhere, any of those, like you say, the restaurants, the hotels, all along Misquamicut.
It's unique, and a lot of people in Rhode Island don't know some of the facts. I mean, one of the facts is that we have the longest stretch of continuous beach in the state. We are the #1 revenue-generating state beach in the state.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
We generate the most hotel tax revenue of any town in South County in the state. So we're a really big economic engine for the state and certainly for South County. So, you know, we really make up quite a bit of like the South County Tourism Council's budget and things like that, because the money is really generated. We have over 400 hotel rooms just in Misquamicut, and then you add to that what's in Watch Hill with the Ocean House and places like that that are just, you know, that's the first 5-star rating that's been given in a long time at the Ocean House. So we're definitely a place that's got a lot of everything in. You know, maybe you'll see Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's right. She lives down there. She spent big money on a house.
I haven't
down there.
met her. I haven't met her.
15 million or something?
17 million dollars. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. So there must be something there that she
Yeah.
likes. So.
What's his name? Sold his house in was it Barrington? No, Bristol, right? What's his name? The actor sold his house over there. He took a beating on it, so he sold it at the low end.
Anthony Quinn?
No.
He's dead, but he was a famous person that lived there.
The guy that played in that the ride, the motorcycle ride. Help
Peter
me out
Fonda.
here. No, the one with the
Dennis Hopper.
No, more recently, the night, it shows a guy burning on the motorcycle there. Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he had a house over there. He sold his house.
Well, we got some famous. Conan O'Brien has a place in
Right,
Westerly.
right.
So we've got some people down there that.
Well, and you've had some. You had.
I knocked on Conan's door one day and said, "Look, I got this show," and he said, "Yeah, my mom watches." So we went across the street to the boatyard. He didn't want us to put the house on TV, and Conan did a great interview. That was one.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, it was
I
a lot of
remember
fun,
that.
yeah.
So I had to up you a little bit because I got Conan. I got a picture with Conan, and then I went on the Tonight Show. I wasn't a guest on the show, but I was behind the scenes. I got to go behind the scenes.
Well, when I managed Chad and Jeremy, which was a group back
Right.
in the '60s, we.
What was their big song?
Trees swaying in the summer breeze. Yeah.
Breeze, yeah.
I guess I was more like their on-the-road guy, road manager type guy. We did that for a few years before I had my daughter, Maddie. And so we got to go and meet Jay Leno backstage and stuff. It was a lot of fun because Jeremy had been in a movie with Jay Leno back in the 70s with him and Roger Moore. It was kind of I can't remember the name of it.
Wow, must have been a biggie. Him and Roger Moore.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Huh?
It was strange.
James-
and Tommy Smothers was in it too.
Oh
But-
my God, James Bond and.
But actually, Jeremy was just in the Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady. He was in that.
Oh,
So
no
it was pretty
kidding.
cool,
Yeah.
So, but I don't work with them much anymore. But we do bring a lot of people from.
Oh, Jefferson Starship, you had down there.
Yeah, we've had a lot. Misquamicut is like the place for great music. We have
And a great venue to watch to see somebody.
Yeah.
You had it set up. It was a great job you guys
Yeah.
did setting that up.
Well, we now do 2 of them a year. We do a Spring Fest in May
Right.
and a Fall Fest in September,
Right.
3 days worth, and we have the Ferris wheel and the rides and the petting zoo and the beer and wine tent and all that stuff. But we do the main stage as well. We had Marty Ballin from Jefferson Starship come just in May. We had John Cafferty. So we've brought a lot of great people to the beach over the years. We've had Davy Jones. We've had Pete Best, the original drummer of the Beatles.
Wow.
Jefferson Starship, Eric Burden and the Animals. And then all summer long, we do a concert series at the town beach. On Monday nights, we do Monday night jams, and we have people like Al Stewart, Jonathan Edwards, people like that. And then on Wednesdays, we do Blues on the Beach. We have all the Roomful alumni, people like Tab Benoit, some people in the blues scene that are really great. So we've got a great lineup this year. And then we do the Spring and Fall Fest. We have Thursday night magic shows, Thursday night drive-ins. There's only 2
get back
drive-ins.
to the magic. I like magic.
Magic,
What,
okay.
What do you do? Who do you have down there?
The magic of Larry and David by the Sea.
Larry and David.
They're
by
from the
sea.
northern part of the state too, and
Really?
they drive all the way to Westerly every Thursday
Unbelievable.
night to entertain people.
I love magic. I
Yeah.
really do. I've had a few magicians on here. I had a guy come up here from Philadelphia to be on my show, and after the show, he left.
I hope you put them up at a hotel. or
No,
something
get this
for
one.
driving.
Get this one. I felt so bad. He leaves after his magic act, and I thought he left. Went back, get in his car, drove back to Philly. Right. We finished the show. I get outside. He's in the parking lot, sitting down on the curb. I go, "What are you doing? Your car stuck or something?" He goes, "No, I didn't take a car. I took a cab." I said, "You took a cab from Philly?" He goes, "No, I took a cab from the Providence train station." He took a train up from
that
Philly
makes sense.
to Providence, and then a cab from Providence to Pawtucket.
Well-
I said, "Well, I'm going to give you a ride back to the train station. I'm
Bob,
not going to give you a ride to
you
Philly."
could take a train from Providence to Westerly if you wanted to go to the magic show on Thursday nights.
Really?
July and August, every Thursday, 7 o'clock at the Windjammer, we do the magic show. Before that, we have a classic car cruise night every Thursday from May to September.
Oh, I'm going to have to go down there. I'm
And
serious.
then
What time's that? The
The
cruise
cruise
start?
is 5:30 till
5:30?
start. And the best part is on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock, we have our drive-in. And we built a screen on top of these 2 huge cargo containers. So there's only 2 drive-ins now in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And ours. And so we have movies like, I don't know, Forrest Gump, The Karate
Rustic, of
Kid,
course.
Caddyshack. We always kick it off with Jaws in July. So
Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
a good thing to have. No, that gets people in the
It
water.
does. It's amazing. You tune your radio station to a little AM transmitter, and you got that feeling. And we have these great previews where we run like the old commercials from back in the day, like the "Let's all go to the lobby and have a," or the best one that we run, this old one that my friend Chris
Now, what does
Walsh,
that cost to go to?
$10 for a carload. You can put them in the trunk, whatever you want. It's $10.
Really?
Yeah, it's cheap. But the preview is great because there's
And you go on your radio in your car, just like they do at the Rustic.
16:20 a.m. and you can watch the preview where the guy says, "Sit back, relax, have a Coke and a cigarette, and enjoy the movie."
So you're encouraging smoking, right?
No, we're just playing a retro commercial from back in the day, you know. But Misquamicut is like all about that fun stuff, and we've really capitalized on social media recently. On Facebook, we're just at the 20,000th fan on Facebook. So
Right.
we got Facebook, Foursquare, Google Plus, and Twitter, and you can find us at Misquamicut Beach. And the whole Facebook thing blew up during the hurricane because nobody could get instant reaction as to what was happening to their
Right,
homes down
right.
there. So a year ago we had like 6,000 people. Now we're just shy of 20,000 people
Nice.
on Facebook. So we reach about 150,000 people a week through social media, which has really let people know that we're open. Because people were like, geez, I heard the beach was destroyed. I heard this place was
Right,
gone.
right.
And I'm still answering those questions.
And
but
most of them probably don't realize the beach is back together.
the beach is back. It's really better than you remember it because, like we said, all the sand's been filtered. A lot of the places
Right.
had forced renovations, and it looks really good. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, do you still have your what do you have? New Year's Eve. I've been there for New Year's Eve. You have a little action over there.
We do. They have there's places that are open year round in Misquamicut, and then downtown we have New Year's Eve, and then we do a big luau in February because in the middle of the winter it's lonely. So we put on a luau at Venice Restaurant, which is a big huge ballroom, and we decorate the whole place. So we do a lot of great events, and we also do the Spring and Fall Fest because, you know, it's beautiful in September.
Right.
It's beautiful in May.
Right.
And of course, our main season is when the kids are out of school through Labor Day. That's when we have hundreds
Crazy
of people,
action.
thousands of people that rent, hotel rooms, and we have 400 cottage rentals in Misquamicut. People rent for a week, whatever. So, really pretty cool. So we just encourage people to come back and check out what it looks like now.
Well, why wouldn't they know what?
You see, I managed to avoid talking about politics the entire time I'm on the show.
Well, wait a minute. No, we're not done.
No.
We're not done. We're not done.
We're the fun guys.
What time we got? How
Misquamicut.
much time we got left? Go on. 5 minutes. All right. Well, let's do this one
You
time.
gotta play a song,
Read
though.
this. She's got to play a song. Look at this. This is a country. Now, I put this on my Facebook. My Facebook is Bob Venturini.
Is it okay that I'm a Republican in Rhode Island? Are there any of us out there?
Oh, there's some.
Sorry, Ken.
There's.
I'm a moderate Republican, though.
Well, how do you stand on immigration? Illegal immigration.
I'm glad I'm not a U.S. congressman or the president of the United States because I don't know how you figure it out. It's tough. I mean,
Well,
my stance would be I don't want people coming illegally to our country.
Illegal means it's against the law,
Right.
does it not?
You're right, but you've got millions of people that are here and they've had kids here. So what
Right.
do? I don't know what the answer
Well,
is.
but you got to stop it. You got to stop it.
You got to
end
stop.
it.
I think everyone agrees that. I mean, my guy was.
Well, do you realize that our southern border is not completely closed? There are hundreds of miles where there's no fence. No,
I'm sure.
You know what you need? All you need is a double fence with a 50-foot distance between the two fences. A double fence. They got a single fence. These people put ramps over the fence. You put a double fence, that's not happening, right? Whereas in some places, parts of Arizona and Texas, they go miles with no fence at all. So they're not really concerned about it. But quickly, I talked about this on my Facebook. I asked this question. This is a country. Look at that.
I'm looking at it.
This is a country other than the United States. Here's their rules about their immigration laws. There will be no special bilingual programs in the schools. All ballots will be in only their language. No second language. All government businesses will be conducted only in their language. No non-residents will not have the right to vote no matter how long they live here. Non-citizens will never be able to hold political office. Foreigners will not be burdened to the taxpayers. No welfare, no food stamps, no health care, no other government assistance programs. And anybody that burdens us will be deported. Foreigners can invest in the country, but they have to invest at least 40,000 times the daily minimum wage. Foreigners can come here, buy land with options, and restrictions. No waterfront property. All that is reserved to naturally born people. Foreigners may not protest, no demonstration, no waving of flags, no political signs, no bad-mouthing our presidents. These will lead to deportation. If you do not come to this if you do come to this country illegally, get this one, you will be actively hunted and when caught, sent to jail until your deportation can be arranged. All your assets will be taken from you. You know what country this is?
Mexico.
That's right.
That's only because he told me before the show.
Mexico.
Right.
This is their rules. That's amazing. We leave you with that.
I'm glad you didn't ask me what my opinion is on that.
Thank you for coming.
Hey, thank you very much.
What's
Bob.
your website again?
Caswellcooke.com, but Misquamicut.org is about our association.
Take us out of here, Lori.
Mississippi in the middle of a dry spell. Jimmy Rogers and the victual up high. Mama's dancing, baby, on her shoulder. Sun is setting like molasses in the sky. Barbara sang you how to move everything. Always wanting more. He living longing for. Like velvet in that little boy's smile. Like velvet in that soul southern style. A new religion that'll bring you to your knees. Black velvet, if you please. Up in Memphis, the music's like a heat wave. White lightning bound to drive you wild. Mama's dancing, baby, on her shoulder. Sun is setting like molasses in the sky. The way you moved it was a sea, so sweet and true. Always wanting more. He living longing for. Like velvet in that little boy's smile. Like velvet in that soul southern style. New religion that'll bring you to your knees. Black velvet, if you please. Every word of every song that he sang was for you. In a flash when he was gone, it happened so soon. What could you do? What do you do? What do you do? Like velvet in that little boy's smile. Like velvet in that soul southern style. A new religion that'll bring you to your knees. Black velvet, if you please. Oh, black velvet in that little boy's smile. Like velvet in that soul southern style. A new religion that'll bring you to your knees. Like velvet, if you please. If you please. If you please.
Thank you.